You don't crave the spotlight. You're not the loudest in the room, and you certainly don't need the approval of the crowd to know who you are. Yet deep down, you feel a disconnect from the world around you, a silent rebellion that sets you apart. You've always sensed there's something different about the way you move through life. People misunderstand your silence, mislabel your independence, and often overlook your presence until they realize you were the smartest person in the room all along. Sound familiar? If it does, you're not broken, you're rare. And what you're about to hear will finally make it all make sense. These aren't traits you were taught. These are truths you've lived, maybe without even realizing it. So lean in, because only true Sigmas will relate to what's coming next. 1. They crave solitude, but they're not lonely. Sigma males operate best in solitude, not because they fear people or lack social skills, but because silence sharpens their vision. In a world addicted to noise, they recharge in the stillness. While others validate their existence through likes, comments, and crowds, the Sigma male thrives without applause. He's not hiding, he's recalibrating. And the moment he reemerges, you'll see he wasn't retreating, he was rebuilding. People often confuse this trait with loneliness, but it's anything but that. For a Sigma, solitude is not an absence, it's a presence. It's where clarity finds him, where ideas are born, and where emotional clutter is cleared. If you've ever turned down a party just to spend time with your own thoughts and felt more alive because of it, you're already walking the Sigma path. 2. They observe more than they speak. In a room full of noise, the Sigma male listens. He notices the small cracks in people's words, the shift in their posture, the tone that doesn't match their face. While everyone else is trying to impress, he's analyzing. Sigma males are human lie detectors without even trying. They're not interested in surface talk or gossip. They're looking for truth beneath the noise. This deep observation isn't passive, it's strategic. Sigmas are always gathering data, even when they seem disinterested. You might think they're zoned out, but they just read the entire room while you were still choosing your words. They don't speak to fill silence. They speak to shift the atmosphere. And that's what makes their words powerful. Because when a Sigma finally speaks, people listen. 3. Emotional discipline is their superpower. Let's get something straight. Sigmas feel deeply. They just don't show it. And that confuses the world. While others explode, react, or spiral, the Sigma remains composed. He's trained himself to sit with his emotions rather than be driven by them. It's not suppression, it's mastery. He knows that emotional outbursts solve nothing, so he waits, he processes, then he acts with intention. This calm under pressure makes him lethal in both life and business. You'll rarely see a Sigma begging for closure, chasing someone's approval, or trying to explain himself. His silence isn't passive, it's strategic. If you've ever been accused of being too cold just because you didn't let emotions dictate your actions, you're not emotionally numb. You're emotionally disciplined, and that's a rare strength. 4. They hide their pain, even when it's crushing. Pain is part of the Sigma male's journey, but you'll rarely see it on his face. He's the guy who shows up even when he's falling apart inside, the one who cracks a joke while silently bleeding. Not because he wants to hide, but because he refuses to be defined by suffering. Sigmas process pain alone. They don't turn their wounds into performances. Instead, they sit with their struggle in silence, rebuild in private, and come back stronger, without announcing their comeback. This trait often leads others to believe that Sigmas are emotionally detached or cold-hearted, but it's actually the opposite. They feel deeply. They've just learned not to bleed on people who didn't cut them. If you've ever healed in silence, rebuilt without attention, and walked back into the world without needing sympathy, that's not weakness. That's Sigma resilience. 5. They don't follow, but they also don't lead loudly. Forget alpha versus beta. Sigma males are on a whole different spectrum. They don't care about hierarchy or titles. They don't need followers or attention to feel powerful, yet somehow they always end up influencing others. Not because they try, but because their actions speak so loud, people can't ignore them. Sigmas lead through example. through consistency, ethics, and quiet confidence. They don't bark orders or dominate spaces. Instead, they move with such clarity and conviction that others naturally align with them. They challenge the rules, not to rebel, but to understand. And they follow their own compass, even if the world calls them crazy. If you've ever been labeled a lone wolf, but still find people seeking your advice, following your moves, or mirroring your mindset, you're not a leader in the traditional sense. You're a Sigma, and you lead from the shadows. 6. They're attracted to depth, not appearances. While the world drools over filters, brands, and superficial charm, the Sigma male scans for something else entirely: depth. He's not impressed by designer clothes, flashy cars, or viral attention. He wants real. The kind of real that shows up when the mask comes off. In relationships, this creates tension. Because while others are content with surface-level connections, the Sigma seeks substance. He's drawn to intellectual stimulation, emotional maturity, and authenticity. He doesn't care how popular you are. He cares how real you are. And if he senses pretense, he'll disappear without warning. If you've ever ended a relationship not because something was wrong on the outside, but because it felt empty on the inside, you're not picky. You're wired for depth, just like a true Sigma. 7. They're always building something, even in chaos. When life throws curveballs, most people complain. Sigma males? They build. Rejection? They turn it into redirection. Chaos? They carve clarity from it. Failure? They study it and try again with sharper precision. A Sigma's mind is always constructing ideas, plans, systems, skills. Even when everything is falling apart, he's finding angles others miss. Why? Because he understands one powerful truth. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. While others seek ease, he seeks evolution. And that's why he often grows in silence, while others stagnate in noise. If you've ever found yourself dreaming, creating, or planning in the middle of life's mess, you're not broken, you're a builder, a Sigma in motion. 8. They hide their intelligence. This one's a twist, because it's the opposite of what you'd expect. Sigma males are often some of the most intelligent people in any room, but they never feel the need to prove it. In fact, they often downplay their knowledge. They ask questions they already know the answers to. They let others speak first. Not out of insecurity, but strategy. They don't crave the spotlight. They crave understanding. They'd rather be underestimated and surprise people with results than overpromise and underdeliver. This quiet intellect often shocks people. One moment, someone assumes the Sigma is just average. The next, they're stunned by how deeply he understands a situation. If you've ever let people assume you were just another face in the crowd, only to outthink, outmaneuver, or outlast them when it mattered most, congratulations. You're not just smart, you're Sigma smart. Final thought. These traits aren't about being superior. They're about being different. In a society that worships attention, the Sigma male finds strength in invisibility. While others chase trends, he carves his own lane. While the world shouts, he listens. And in that silence, he becomes powerful. If even a few of these traits felt like someone just described your soul, it's not a coincidence. You're not weird. You're not misunderstood. You're Sigma. And that, my friend, is your edge. Own it. Protect it. Live it fully. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe. Because this is your tribe. The space where silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. And solitude isn't loneliness, it's leadership.